What's up, world? My name is Cash, and welcome to the channel. So, I made this channel because I've gotten a lot of questions about IVF, the process, what do you need to look for, how did I go about doing it. So, I'm basically going to touch bases on all of that. It's kind of like the do's and the don'ts and really cover your bases on, if you decide to do this process with a person. For those who don't know, me and my ex-partner, I'm just gonna say parent B. We did the IVF process about four and a half years ago, and we were blessed with a baby boy. She was the carrier, and we used my embryo. A little bit about how I did my research. I looked up, because the state I was living in at the time, I was in Georgia. So I kind of looked up the IVF information, really more information about IVF. How do you go about the process? What is the process? Payment for the process in your state. I did everything. Let's keep in mind this is about like 5 years ago. I did my due diligence with the research, and the main thing I was really looking for when I did the research, because I wasn't the carrier, but we were using my embryo, so he is my biological child. I wanted to make sure about, the last name and the birth certificate thing. Upon me doing so much research, I kind of missed out that every state at this time, every state was on a list that I could be added to the birth certificate and my son could get my last name. Every state. Listen to that. Every state was on this list besides Georgia. I missed that Georgia was not on the list. Georgia is a part of other lists dealing with other things, but I missed that part, that Georgia wasn't on the list on, me being added to my son's birth certificate. So, we went through the process. I'm really not going to touch that much. I'm not going to touch on that much of the process, because this is like the aftermath of it. I'm just really going to give knowledge to those that always ask about the process and how did I go about doing my research and what did I look up. I'm really going to touch bases on that. Like, what do you really need to know? And you have to be in tune with your state laws. Things have changed since I did the process, so I know it's a lot different from the research I did then, the research you will do now. I'm also going to have you guys follow me on the journey of getting on my son's birth certificate and changing his last name. Because yes, almost 4 years later, and I'm still going through that process. I can't really touch bases too much on that part right now because it's an open case, which means I'm in court for it. But I am gonna give you guys pointers and what you need to look for. Basically, how do you go about, doing the IVF process the right way so you don't end up like me? And when I say end up like me, I'm just saying these last couple of months, they're been, hectic for me, for real. Like, I get a lot of questions about the situation I'm going through now, but I couldn't answer it before because I wasn't going through this. Now that I'm going through this, you guys can follow me on the journey on why I'm going through it. I mean, I'm going to share as much as possible. I don't want to leave anything out. If you feel like you have a question and I didn't touch on something, you can always comment below. Let me know what question you're looking for, or if I can help you find certain answers, I'll definitely do that. Because again, the channel is to make people aware and to help you before you get caught up in something that you might not have the strength to get out of. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's get to it. I did the IVF process with parent B. We were in Georgia at the time. I did all my due diligence. I did research. I did so much research that I missed the main part. So, my biggest fear was I always wanted to make sure I could be on my son's birth certificate as well as him having my last name. That's the most important thing to me. Of course, me being on his birth certificate is kind of like You know, that's my kid. Why wouldn't I want to be on a birth certificate? So I had to make sure I was covering all aspects of the research to make sure I'm good in the end. I did so much research that I missed Georgia wasn't one of the states listed when it says that if you do the IVF process with a partner, that you can be added to the birth certificate. When I say I did so much research, we all know I'm not talking about like 3 or 4 links that I clicked online. I'm talking about months and months and months worth of research before the process was even started. I really was trying to cross all T's and dot all I's to make sure, you know, that I'm covered at the end of the process, period. Because I'm not the carrier. Yes, we are using my embryo, but again, this is my first time doing it, so I don't want to come out with the short end of the stick. I don't want to miss something crucial in the process, which ultimately I did. So the research I was doing back then, which I'm always going to say, do your research, do your research, do your research. Even me making this video, it doesn't stop the research that you should do. I'm just giving you key points on what you need to look at. How do you find it? How do you go about getting questions before you actually go through with the process with the person? And if you're having doubts for whatever reason on your end, I say stand on the doubt. Like, stand on the doubt. Don't fold, stand 10 toes down if you're feeling some type of way about doing the process or the person you're going to do the process with. If you feel like it's not a good situation, don't do it. Because again, you're bringing a child into the world. So if you're already having doubts in the beginning and it's just like, oh, I don't really know, or if you've seen red flags, even if it's a yellow flag and you're really not sure if it's red but it's yellow, make sure you, like, you know, you stamp that. You have to cover yourself at the end of the day. We don't know the other person like you think you know the other person. You really might not know the other person. So when I did my research, I was making sure about the birth certificate and the last name because, again, that matters to me. This is my kid. So I need to be a part of everything dealing with my child. Every list, every list I came across, every state was on that list. Listen to me. Every state was on the list that I looked up, even multiple lists. Every state was listed on these lists that they had out about, you know, you don't have to be married for the parent to get on the birth certificate. You know what I overlooked? Georgia is the only state that wasn't on the list. This is at that time. It might be different now. It might be more states added. But at this time, Georgia was the only state that was not on the list. Fast forward, we do the process. It's time to, you know, name my son. It's time to sign the birth certificate. And then the nurses in the hospital telling me like, oh, you know, you can't sign the birth certificate because y'all not married. You cannot sign the birth certificate because you guys are not married. Talking about a blow to the gut. Bad enough my son was a COVID baby, so I didn't get to do, you know, the regular process like everybody else. Like, I didn't get to go to all the doctor's appointments. I didn't get to see certain stuff. Like, I missed out on a lot being that it was the COVID era and they weren't trying to let 2 people in at the same time. No matter if it was the other person, the other parent, they weren't trying to let 2 people in at the appointment at the same time. So I missed out on a lot dealing with that. I did have a couple of nurses that, you know, they didn't mind if I came in, because most of the time if I didn't sit in the car, I had to wait in the waiting room. They didn't mind if I came in. They even let me record like the ultrasound process and all of that, even though you weren't supposed to record. Shout out to those nurses. They were super cool. They let me record. So I have files and all of that from that, but this is the aftermath of IVF. So this is what's transpiring right now. Keep in mind, I can't get into too much because it is an open case on my end. So first, if you are in Georgia, it don't matter what part of Georgia. If you in Georgia and you want to do the IVF process with your girlfriend, not your wife, with your girlfriend. Just keep in mind, the only way for you to get on the birth certificate, if you go the way I went, like if you want to be, where y'all going to use your embryo and then your girlfriend is going to be the carrier. The only way for the child to get your last name and for you to be on the birth certificate, you guys have to be married. If you're not married, the girlfriend, the carrier, she has to fill out a surrogate form. I know that sounds harsh, and it's just like, yo, why would I fill out that form? Because we're at the end of the day, you have to cover you. I know it might be like a tough conversation to have, but my thing is, if you bring up the conversation with your partner and then they give you an attitude about it, or they're just not with the whole, no, I'm not signing the surrogate thing, I think that right there is your cue to not do the process. And I'm not trying to say this to scare people, but I'm doing this as a warning. The process of what I'm going through right now, dealing with parent B and my child, most people can't handle it. They can't handle it. And when I say that, it's a lot. It's a lot because it's draining. It's draining because I have to go through. I'm going through this with the person over my biological kid. No matter how he was brought here, at the end of the day, that's my biological kid. And I have to go through so much to, be a parent to my child. It's hurtful. And sometimes that hurt can really turn the person off from doing the right thing. And the right thing is fighting for what you're supposed to fight for. And that's the child at the end of the day. So I have had my moments. I've been in a dark space. And I say I've been in a dark space because I'm not used to certain things. I haven't been through anything. I haven't did the IVF process with a person before. Like, this is my first and last. The experience just wasn't, it wasn't a good experience for me. So I don't think I'll ever spin the block and do this again. If I was to spin the block, and not with parent B, but I'm saying spin the block, like if I was to do the IVF process again with a different partner, I know how to go about it. If they don't agree on going about it the way that I feel about going about it, right then and there is really nothing else to talk about. We won't be going through the process together, because what I'm dealing with right now, I can't take a second round of this. Like, there's literally days where I just, I'm in my feelings. I'm in my feelings and I'm hurt that it even got here. But I don't want y'all to be where I am if you don't have to. So let's get to the not have to be in here. If you're in Georgia, that's the thing. If you do an IVF, same sex, yeah, we have some, like, they giving us some leeway, some room, but we don't have rights like how everybody else has rights. You absolutely have rights to your child, no matter if another person carried or not. Again, I can't really jump into that right now because I'm fighting a case. I'm going to bring you guys along with me to see how the case plays out, but I can't really touch bases on that. I'm really so much going to touch bases on how to not end up like me. Because if I wasn't as strong as I was, I probably would have gave up already. But I can't give up because that's my son. Like, that's my flesh and blood. So I'm going to fight for him, and I'm going to fight for my rights and what I know is right at the end of the day. So if you live in Georgia, just keep in mind that if you want to do the IVF process and you and your partner are not married, they have to fill out the surrogate form so you can get on the birth certificate, and you can also name your child. Your child can get your last name. The surrogate paperwork is a must for the carrier because y'all not married. If you married, you go on a birth certificate just like the carrier goes on a birth certificate. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You both go on a birth certificate because you're married. Your child gets your last name because you're married. So that was really so much for the people who aren't married, like how to cover yourself for the ones who aren't married. The price of IVF is different in each state. Whatever state you live in, you have to look up the laws for that state to see about the cost. And then it's just not about the cost, because you guys have more than one IVF clinic per state. Is more than one clinic that does this. Also, I'm big on reviews. They have to have good reviews. You have to have good reviews in order to feel comfortable with going with a place. Because reviews don't lie. If a person went through IVF with a clinic and it was a horrible experience, trust me, they're going to let you know in the comments, this was horrible. I would never use this clinic again. Or you guys don't go to... Like, the reviews basically make it easy for you to narrow down the clinic that you're going to use. I used a great clinic in Atlanta. They had the best reviews out of everybody. The doctor, she's like one of the top doctors. She was excellent. Like, everything was good with them. It was good. It was a lot of medicine, a lot of doctor visits. It's only 7 days in a week. I probably was at the doctor 4 out of those 7 days. I went to the doctor probably 4 times a week. If not 3, it was 4 times a week I'm at the doctor. So be prepared for that. It's a lot of doctor visits. It's a lot of medicine. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap thing. But I feel like I'm appreciative of the IVF process for the LGBT community, because not all of us want to carry. Like, I've never wanted to carry, but I always wanted a kid. This was perfect for me, for real. I just made mistakes along the way. As far as research-wise, I made mistakes. What else? If you're not sure about the IVF process in whatever state you live in, you can contact the state office. Any state that you live in, you can contact the state office. Let them know that you want to go through the IVF process, but you don't want to miss anything. If it comes to like the birth certificate, they'll let you know right then and there. They'll ask, are you and your partner married? No, you're not married. Oh, well, you have to be married. Or if you're not married, you have to go about it this way. I'm still reaching out to Georgia right now, and I no longer live there, and they're still helping me go through things, because they know, that I need certain things for court, or I'm trying to go about it a certain way because I am in court, and they still help. And I don't even live in Georgia anymore, but they still help me. So your state office is always a plus. Do your research. I can't stress to do your research enough. Even if every state is listed on the things that you're looking for or you're coming across, make sure your state is up there. Georgia was on a lot of, they were listed under a lot of IVF laws. It's just that one paper that I looked at, that one link I clicked on, every state was there, and I overlooked that Georgia wasn't there. So now I'm fighting the aftermath of me overlooking something that I actually was looking for in the beginning. And I probably overlooked it because everything I looked at prior to, Georgia was listed. It was listed there. So just do your research. I really can't stress that enough. For my people who's going through what I'm going through, you're dealing with parent B, and it might be difficult. Parent B might be holding a child hostage. That might not be the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. Their parent B is holding a child hostage, and you're fighting to see your child. It weighs on you. Like, it weighs on you. It changes your spirit. It changes your mood. I feel like the good people, when they deal with these situations, they kind of get like the short end of the stick. Like, I'm an amazing parent. This is my first time parenting. I've dealt with people with kids, but my kid, this is my kid. I go above and beyond for him. Like, I feel like I'm an amazing parent. And to have to fight to be an amazing parent is draining. It sucks. It's not fun. It's not a happy time. I haven't spoken to my child in a while. So things like that bothers me. It bothers me. I don't want to put your name out, but to the ladies who sent me DMs because, they're going through what I'm going through, as far as not being able to see your child and dealing with a parent be like that. It's just, it's tough, and I get it. But my thing is, the only thing that I'm really gonna say to y'all: fight for your child. Fight for your child. Fight for your child. Fight for your child. If you don't fight for your child, who gonna fight for him? That's your flesh and blood at the end of the day. I feel like you, no matter how hard circumstances get, and no matter how hard the fight get, you gotta fight for your baby. Because who else gonna do it? That's your baby at the end of the day. And I'm not judging because I'm going through it right now. And I know how weak, I know how weak you can be with trying to fight for something that you shouldn't really be fighting for at the end of the day. Like, we shouldn't be at this point where it's this bad, like, that now we're playing with the kid. It should never get like that. And I'm there. I'm not gonna say I've been there because I'm there now. I'm there now. I've went days just crying. I've went days where I had no appetite, but I have to eat because I don't want to get sick. I can't fully like break down because my son needs me. I gotta stay strong for him. But yes, I've had times where I'm just like, yo, I don't understand why I'm going through this. Like, why am I going through this? I didn't understand it. So, to those people who are going through what I'm going through, or if you want to say I'm going through what y'all going through, fight. I know it's exhausting. It's so draining that even when you sleep, when you get rest and you wake up, you still tired. Like, it's like you've never been asleep. Like, you're exhausted. You don't know if you coming or going. I don't look like what I've been through, if you ask me. I don't look like what I'm going through. Like, I don't look like it. But trust me, I'm going through it over here. Y'all not alone. You not alone. If you walked away from a situation because you just didn't have it in you to fight, I'm making this because I want y'all to go back and fight. I want y'all to go back and finish fighting. I want you to fight for your kid. You're not fighting for the relationship that's done with. We fighting for the kid. I want you to go back and fight. You're not fighting alone. We fighting together. That's why I made the channel. I'm not the only one that's going through this. People have been going through this before I even decided to do the IVF thing, and people are going to go through this after me. This is just a warning to some people on, I don't want nobody to go through this. Like, I don't want this to pass through anybody's life. When I hear stories about not even just the LGBT, but heterosexual people, when they say, oh, if the father, he's like, yo, I want to be there for my kid, but the mother, she's making it hard, so I just said F it. It's easy to judge. It's easy to judge him, but I know what he going through because I'm him. Like, I'm him at the moment. So I know how it feels to fight for something, and it's just like, yo, you want to fight. You fighting so hard that you just, it hurts you more to fight because you question that, why am I fighting? Not why, because I know a kid is involved, but why am I fighting? Like, who plays with a kid? Who dangles a kid like that? Like, why? Why are we here? It's bad. It's bad, and I swear I don't judge anybody who's going through this or who went through this and then they walked away. I don't judge y'all. I don't judge y'all because I get it. I get the heartbreak behind it. I get the tears behind it. I get the not knowing what day it is behind it. You don't know if you coming or going for real. I get all that. I get all that. But I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all what standing 10 toes down look like. I'm going to show y'all what fighting for your rights look like. You have rights at the end of the day. Yeah, the courts, they never, they never really on our side. They never really on our side for much, but utilize them. Utilize them. Like, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. I'm going to be a walking testimony of this. I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be far from easy. But if you can avoid from becoming a me or becoming somebody that you might know, because again, I don't know anybody who has a kid with a person and the person doesn't, the person is like playing with the child. I don't know anybody like that. Of course, I hear stories all the time, but me personally, I have a lot of female friends, and I've never seen them play with the child with their kid's father. I've never seen it. So I know it happens because I see stories, but I don't have anybody around me that even plays games like that, because I guess I'm just around some real ones, like some real solid females, and they just not going to do that. Like, they not going to do that. That's not the route they want to take. And I respect ladies who don't take that route, because when you do, yeah, you're hurting the other parent, but I guarantee you my son is suffering right now. Like, my son is suffering without me. So, yeah, I'm hurt, but I'm hurt to the fact that I don't really care about me being hurt. I want to make sure my baby is good. Like, I don't want his feelings to be hurt behind anything. He's still young, and I get it, he's little, but still, these are the times that matter. Like, I'm missing a lot of time in my son's life right now, when I'm supposed to be there to catch every moment, and I don't like it. So, this is really like an introduction on what the channel is going to be about. I do have some more do's and don'ts. I will be like reading out of my notebook so I don't be shuffled or just like talking in circles. Again, I'm not really talking in code about my situation. It's just I can't really touch bases like how I want to right now. But I'm definitely going to dig into the aftermath of my situation for sure. But again, my name is Cash. Welcome to IVF Aftermath. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.